So today I'll be guiding you how to, get all answers correct in this IELTS listening test, right? So first of all, there are many tips and tricks which are used in the IELTS listening. Until and unless you know these tricks, you will not be able to get good bands in the IELTS exam. So the basic idea is that all the answers are actually being spoken during the audio test. Fine, it is only your presence of mind and common sense which can enable you to, locate the answers. Fine. So tip number one is, stay focused all the time and concentrate. If you lose your concentration, even if for a few seconds, you will lag behind in the test, you will lose the track of the test, and you may be, lost in the maze of this test. So focus and concentration is the key to success, right? So now I'll play the test, and side by side I'll be typing certain instructions for you that how we can actually find out the answers.
Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a man phoning to inquire about a job vacancy. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4.
So first step is move with the tape. Fine, follow the instructions carefully. Like now we've been given the instructions to look at question 1 to 4, right? So now I have a few seconds to already, make up my mind and predict the answers. Fine, I have to predict the answers. What kind of answers can I expect? So first, read the instructions in the question paper. It says, write no more than 3 words and or a number. Fine, so I have to respect and obey these instructions. I cannot write more than 3 words. Okay, now I look at question number 1, type of work. So I already get an idea that the blank has to be filled with some sort of verb, some sort of action. It can be, type of work can be anything, right? Say running, gardening, or it depends. Now I've already made up my mind that this answer has to do something with work. It has to be a verb form. Okay, and then never ignore these solved bullet points. For example, this is already solved. I don't have to do anything here. Number of hours per week, 12 hours. So यहाँ already 12 hours लिखा हुआ है, but this is a sort of milestone for me which will help me stay focused. मैं इसके साथ साथ चलूँगा. Straight away मैं first के बाद second पे नहीं आ जाऊँगा. I'll wait. Fine. I'll wait to listen for this number of hours, 12 hours. इससे मुझे confidence रहेगा कि मैं टेप के साथ साथ मूव कर पा रहा हूँ, मैं कहीं आगे पीछे गुम तो नहीं हो गया हूँ. फाइन, देन आई विल ऑल्सो वेट फॉर दिस वर्क परमिट थिंग. ओके, फिर मुझे अब कॉन्फिडेंस होगा कि अब मैं ठीक जगह पे हूँ, अब आंसर आएगा सेकंड का. ओके, सो रिमेंबर आंसर्स आर ऑलवेज स्पोकन इन अ सीक्वेंस. इट्स नॉट हैफिजर्ड कि पहले फर्स्ट का आंसर आ जाएगा, फिर फोर्थ का, फिर सेकंड का. नो, दे विल मूव इन अ सीक्वेंस. फाइन, सो आफ्टर फर्स्ट it's a guarantee that you will listen to these 2 solved bullet points, and then only the tape will speak the second question, answer to the second question. Work in the dash branch. So even before listening to the audio, I can make up my mind that it has to be some adjective word. Adjective होना चाहिए, कौन सी branch, Kent branch, city branch, village branch, main branch, anything related with, you see, the adjective of the word branch. Then next, third, next bus, next to dash. So it has to be a landmark. Next to what? Next to a building, next to a hospital, next to the crossing. So I have to be careful about the location words. And then the last question, fourth question here is, it's a currency, pounds and hours. So it has to be something in numeric. 1 pound, 2 pounds, 4, 8, 10, whatever. So I have already, you see, predicted the answers. Now let's listen to the script. And I'll be typing the answers.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, actually, the students of C class were late. Can you explain it again, please?
Okay, I'll just quickly revise it. That you see, you get a few seconds actually to look at the questions, and don't hurry. Move with the tape. Fine, the tape gives you instructions. Right now, the tape has asked us to look at questions 1 to 4. So I have already made up my mind regarding answer 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 has to be something related to some sort of work. Okay, then I have to wait for these solved bullet points also. I have to wait till I listen 12 hours, a work permit. So it will give me confidence that I am moving along with the tape. Then I work in the dash branch. So this has to be an adjective word. Next to it should be a landmark, name of a place or a building. And fourth has to be some sort of numerical, you see, figure. 1, 2, 8, 10, whatever. Okay. So tips. Next step is, I'll just explain why it is important. They will use a lot of synonyms here. If you expect to listen to the same words which are given in the question paper, you may not listen it. यहाँ type of work लिखा है, और अगर आप उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि आपको वहाँ भी type of work ही सुनाई देगा, तो शायद ना सुनाई दे. Fine, you have to be, you see, like presence of mind से आपको देखना है कि type of work को और क्या कहा जा सकता है. अभी हम first example देखते हैं.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good evening, King's Restaurant.
Good evening. I'm ringing about the job I understand you have vacant.
Oh, yes.
The job vacancy is at a restaurant, so a restaurant has been written in the space. Now we shall begin.
Students, this solved example is just there in the demo or you see mock tests. When you actually take the exam and you sit in the real test environment, you don't get to listen to a solved example. Straight away the test begins.
But answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Good evening, King's Restaurant.
Good evening. I'm ringing about the job I understand you have vacant.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to find out a few more details, if I may.
Yes, of course. Can I take your name?
It's Peter Chin.
Okay, Peter. Well, if you want to ask about the job, and then if we're both still interested, we could arrange for you to come for an interview.
Great, thanks. I'm afraid I missed the advert for the job, but heard about it from a friend.
That's no problem at all. What would you like to know?
Well, what sort of work is it? Washing up?
Yeah, children, did you listen? He said, what sort of work is it? Sort of. Fine. I told you about the synonym thing. he spoke what sort of work is it, and in the question paper it is written what type of work is it. So both these actually mean the same thing. Fine. So now I get the answer. He said washing up. Okay, listen carefully. This is again, you see, a trap. A trap in order to make you land into a wrong answer. Just listen again.
It's answering the phone.
Oh, right, fine.
And not waiting at table.
That.
So you see, we had predicted that this answer has to do something with a verb, something of doing something. So type of work, इसकी बजाय इसने क्वेश्चन में ऑडियो में बोला sort of work. फाइन. अगर मैं टाइप ऑफ वर्क सुनने की वेट करता रहता मुझे आंसर कभी नहीं मिलता. सो दिस इज number one trick. They have used the synonym. Fine. So sort of work. But he has answered 3 different works. Is it washing up? No, it's answering the phone and not waiting a table. Yeah, so the right answer here is answering the phone. Okay, let's keep yourself muted, all of you, please.
Be good. And how many nights a week would it be?
Well, we're really only busy at the weekend.
So 2 nights?
3 actually, so it would work out at 12 hours a week.
That'd be fine. It wouldn't interfere with my studies.
Are you at the university?
Yes, first-year physics student.
Oh, right.
And because I'm not an EU national, would I need a work permit?
Yes, you would. Just get your tutor to sign it.
That wouldn't be a problem if I were to get the job. Where exactly is the restaurant?
Now look, you see, they talked about the number of hours per week, 12 hours, and they also talked about the work permit. Now I know that after this comes the turn of the second question. And now he has started asking about where exactly I have to work. Now I'm, you see, careful, eagerly waiting for the answer to be spoken.
Well, we have 2 branches. The one we're recruiting for is in Hillsdon Road.
I don't know that. How do you spell it, please?
It's HILLSDUNNE Road.
Got that. Thanks.
Now you see, in the first section, most of the questions are easy to follow. Like if it is a proper noun and the spellings can be confusing for children, so they will spell it out. It's very easy. So I call it a free hit. You must do it correct. Fine, because they have spoken the way I was taught in my nursery class. HILLSDUNNE Road. Fine. So this was a bonus answer for me.
Is it near a bus stop?
Yes, the nearest one would probably be just beside the library.
Oh, yes, I know it.
What did she say? Just beside the library.
The library.
Yes, so beside and next to, again a synonym has been used here. Had I been waiting for the same expression next to, I would have lost the answer. So I have to be careful enough, use my presence of mind all the time and look for synonyms. So she said it's beside the library. Fine, so it has to be, the answer has to be next to the library or library. I have an option of writing 3 words. So even I can write the article also, the library. And had it been write only 1 word, then I would have skipped the article because it doesn't convey anything. I would have given only the library as an answer. Right? Let's look at the 4th one.
It'd be fine for me. And could I ask about the pay?
We're offering £4.45 an hour.
That's very good. My last job was £3.95 an hour.
Look, children, they spoke 2 figures now. We are offering £4.45 an hour. He says, that's good. My last job was £3.95 an hour. So this is again a trap. to confuse you. They have given you two numerical, you see, answers, and now some of the students would be confused कि इन दोनों में से ठीक है कौन सा. But the right answer is 4.45 pounds an hour. Right? Okay, let's move further to the fifth one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can it be 4 euros and 45 cents?
You see, like it depends. He's given you the option of writing one number. Fine. So I cannot write 4 euros. Pounds है ना, euros तो है ही नहीं. The currency is pounds. 4.45 pounds an hour.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10.
Okay, now we have some time to already predict questions 5 to 10. So it's like benefits, you get a free dinner. It's again a milestone, a guide word for me. Extra pay when you work on dash. When you work on, you get extra salary if you work on what? A Sunday, a holiday, something like that. And transport home when you work, maybe overtime or at night. I'm predicting, fine. Quality is required. You should be able to, so this has to be a very good quality, one, and ability to dash. Then you see, since I know that this job that they are talking about is answering the phone, so it has to do something with talking, taking notes. ये मैं predict कर रहा हूँ, सुनेंगे तो पता चलेगा. Interview arranged for, the day is given Thursday, time is given 6 p.m. So what is missing? Maybe the date. The date is to be the answer here. And then ask for Samira dash. A surname should be the answer. So this is how you utilize those few seconds which the tape gives you. So this is very important. During this time, अगर आप distract हो जाते हैं, इधर उधर देखने लग जाते हैं, मेरे आगे वाला क्या कर रहा है, मेरे पीछे कौन बैठा है, दाएं वाला क्या कर रहा है, तो आपका focus और concentration would be lost. So this is a kind of meditation. For next half an hour when you're taking the listening test, you have to be focused and concentrated on your audio script only. Okay, so let's continue.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what is the time given by the tape?
Time of only a few seconds. अभी मैं तो बीच बीच में पॉज कर रहा हूँ so that I can add my explanation. But कल जब आपने टेस्ट किया था तो आपने देखा था it gives you only a few seconds, 10-20 seconds for each group of answers.
Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
We feel it's pretty good, and we also offer some good fringe benefits.
Really?
Well, we give you a free dinner, so you eat well.
Right. Better than hostel food.
We certainly hope so. And we also offer extra pay for working on national holidays.
Oh, that's a really good perk, isn't it?
Yes, we think so. And then, because of the difficulties of getting public transport, if you're working after 11 o'clock, we drive you home.
Oh, that's good to know.
Well, we'd certainly be interested in inviting you for an interview, if you're still interested.
Oh, yes, certainly. Could I just also ask what qualities you're looking for?
Well, for this particular job, we want a clear voice, which you obviously do have.
Thanks.
And you must be able to think quickly, you know.
Well, I hope I...
So, when could you come in for an interview? We're actually quite quiet tonight.
Sorry, I couldn't come tonight. Or tomorrow, I'm afraid. Thursday's okay. That'd be 22nd of October.
Fine. After 5 p.m.?
Yes, fine. Would 6 o'clock be okay?
Perfect. And could you bring along the names of 2 referees?
Yes?
Now, children, look, while answering to question number 9, again they gave you a lot of options. We are busy tonight. Can it be tomorrow? No. Thursday would be okay. So you see, you have to be focused and concentrating all the time. Because even one single detail, if you miss, you get one wrong answer. Okay? Now let's look at the last question from the section. Question 10.
That's fine, no problem.
Good. I look forward to seeing you.
Oh, by the way, who should I ask for?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. My name is Samira Manuja.
Can you spell that, please?
Manuja.
Okay. I've got that. Thanks very much.
Look forward to seeing you later on then.
So this was the first section, which has 10 questions to answer. And you see, as I told you earlier also, this is actually the most easiest section to answer. You must have noticed that most of the answers are one word, two words, writing down a number, noting down dates or names. Like this second, Hillsdon Road, and 10 Manuja, this was a free hit. Fine. I don't think that anybody of you should not get it correct, because they are actually spelling it out. Manuja. Fine. And in the second case, it was Hillsdon Road. Again, they spelt that for you. Fine. So these are some of the tips and tricks that we need to follow when we are actually hunting for answers. Fine. And if you don't follow tips or tricks, fine. And you see, the first challenge is that we are not in habit of listening to conversation of people who are actually native speakers of English. Right? So both these speakers were actually native speakers, and it is a real-time conversation. Fine? So any doubts in section 1? Anybody wants to ask anything? Any observations?
Sir, in fourth question, you have to write 4.45.
Yeah, it was 4.45. 4.45. Actually, she spoke like this. We are offering 4.45 pounds an hour. Then you see, whenever you get a question on numbers, they'll be actually using, you see, confusing pairs. Like they'll use 15 and 50, 14 and 40, 13 and 30, fine, 16 and 60, so like this. So most of the tests, you see, I've experienced more than 100 listening tests in my life, and I've observed that if they choose to put a question on numbers, definitely they are going to choose one of these confusing pairs. Fine, so you have to be very particular while you see listening to the pronunciation of the number. This one, 15 would be a bit longer, and 50 would be a bit shorter. And you can only make it out if you are focused. Yes, Gunan, do you want to ask anything? Keep yourself muted, please. Gunan, mute your mic, please. You are disturbing the class.
So in 8th question, the answer is speak quickly or think quickly.
It was think quickly, and you should be able to think quickly. Think.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, in the 9th question.
Yes, beta?
Sir, in the 9th question, answer is after 5 p.m. or 20.
Beta, look at the blank. Look at the blank. Read it. It says Thursday dash at 6 p.m. Time is already given. So if you fill up 5 here, then read the blank. Does it make sense? Thursday, 5 p.m. at 6 p.m. Fine. So you see, another thing that you have to do is, once you have found out the answers, fine. So in the paper, actually you would be writing here only. Fine. I don't have the facility to write on the screen today, but when you actually sit for the exam, you get a hard copy paper, और आप इस पे ही लिखेंगे. जब आप blanks इस पे fill करेंगे और इसको read करेंगे sentence को, then you will be able to make out कि जो मैंने fill किया है इससे sense बन रही है. क्या ये sentence ये लिखने के बाद grammatically correct लग रहा है? So in case I filled Thursday 5 p.m. 5 p.m. as the answer. So after reading it, some alarm should ring in my mind that there is something wrong. How can it be Thursday 5 p.m. at 6 p.m.? So that means, again I told you, use your common sense. Day is already given, Thursday. Time is already given, 6 p.m. So even before listening to the content, I could predict that the answer has to be a date here. Fine, Thursday, 22nd October. Yes, anybody else?
Sir, in the second question, they also told about the 2 branches.
2 branches, but she said the one that we are recruiting for is on the Hillsdon Road. We have 2 branches, पर जिसके लिए हम रिक्रूट कर रहे हैं, ये जॉब निकाली है, वो वाली ब्रांच हिल्सडन रोड पे है. Dear, it comes with practice. The more listening tests you do, you see, the more comfortable you become listening and understanding and comprehending the English speech. हमने आज तक शायद इतने अंग्रेज़ों से तो कभी बात ही नहीं की होगी, सिर्फ गोल्डन टेम्पल में फ़ोटो खिंचाई होगी किसी के साथ, है ना? So you need to, you see, develop your listening comprehension skills because they don't repeat the things. एक बार जो बोला बस वो निकल गया. अभी जितने टेस्ट पे मैंने आपके साथ आधा घंटा स्पेंड किया है, एक्चुअली टेक्स ओनली 5 to 6 minutes. पूरी कॉन्वर्सेशन ये मैक्सिमम 5-6 minutes की है. And in the paper, we don't get enough time to stop and pause the tape. It will run through. It is not in my hands. I am at the receiving end. वो एग्जामिनर ने एक बार टेप प्ले कर दी तो बस ये चलती जाएगी फिर. Okay, any more questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
अच्छा, कल आप लोगों ने आंसर्स लिखे थे, सबके किसी के 10 में से 10 ठीक हुए?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, very good.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. I'm happy that if in the first attempt you are able to get 10 on 10, that's really a big achievement. और कोई ऐसा तो नहीं जिसका एक भी ठीक नहीं हुआ था? होना नहीं चाहिए वैसे ऐसा, हाँ? Anyone who could not get even a single answer correct? वो कोई बताएगा भी नहीं अगर हुआ भी तो. Right. So shall we move forward? इतना clear है?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Now when you see one section is over, again the tape gives you a few seconds to revise your work. Fine? Let's listen what the tape says.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now you see this half a minute has to be utilized very carefully. There are 2 options to do with this time. One is actually you can revise your work. You can look at the answers. क्या मैंने सारे 3 words ही लिखे हैं? 3 से ज़्यादा तो नहीं आ गया कोई मेरा? फाइन. और फिर मुझे इनको ब्लैंक्स को भी चेक करना है कि जो ब्लैंक मैंने फिल किया है इससे सेंस बन रही है. डज इट मेक सेंस? फाइन. सो वंस यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि मेरे पिछले आंसर तो ठीक हैं, अब इसमें ये कोशिश नहीं करनी कि मैं अगले वाले का चेक कर लूँ उसने क्या लिखा है. किसी और की नकल मारोगे अपने भी गलत हो जाएंगे. सो स्टे फोकस्ड ऑन योर टेस्ट. फाइन. एंड इफ़ यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि मुझे पीछे वाला काम देखने की अब ज़रूरत नहीं है, तो you can use this time to look at the next set of questions so that you can already make up your mind and predict what kind of answers can you expect.
Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear part of a radio program about the opening of a new local sports shop. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16.
Now, before you actually read the questions, you have to read the instructions given. Complete the notes below. Write one word and or a number for each answer. So in the previous section, I had the option to write 3 words and a number, but here I am restricted only till one word and or a number. And or. So you understand it carefully. So my answer can be one word plus one number, or a number alone, or a word alone, but not more than 2 words. अगर मैंने 2 लिखे, जैसे पीछे एक आंसर आया था ना, द लाइब्रेरी, अगर यहाँ कुछ ऐसा हुआ और मैंने द लाइब्रेरी लिखा तो गलत हो जाएगा, चाहे लाइब्रेरी ठीक आंसर ही हो, बट इफ आई राइट 2 words I will not be given the credit. Okay? So before we listen to the conversation, let's predict the answers. 11th, a new dash of an international sports goods company. A new dash, a new company, a new store, a new branch, whatever. देखेंगे जब सुनेंगे. Located in the shopping center to the dash of broadcaster. Broadcaster B capital है. That means it's a proper noun. Name of something. Shopping center. Located, location है. Center, shopping center to the dash of. So it can be a direction, left, right, front, back, whatever. Has sports dash and equipment. Has sports shoes, sports clothes, whatever. देखेंगे, मैं अभी मन बना रहा हूँ, यहाँ कुछ ऐसा आना चाहिए. Can get you any item within dash days. So it has to be definitely a number of days. है ना? Then shop specialize in equipment for some particular, you see, some special thing is to be here. Has a special section which just sells, this is again should be a noun, just sells what? Maybe shoes, fine, protein shakes. Let's see. So I've already familiarized myself with the probable answers. Let's see.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Now we go to Jane, who is going to tell us about what's happening in town this weekend.
Right, thanks, Andrew. And now on to what's new. And do we really need yet another sports shop in Bradcaster? Well, most of you probably know Sports World, the branch of a Danish sports goods company that opened a few years ago. It's attracted a lot of custom, and so the company has now decided to open another branch in the area. It's going to be in the shopping centre to the west of Bradcaster. So that will be good news for all of you who found the original shop in the north of the town hard to get to. I was invited to a special preview, and I can promise you, this is the ultimate in sports retailing. The whole place has been given a new minimalist look with the company's signature colours of black and red. The first 3 floors have a huge range of sports clothing as well as equipment. And on the top floor, there's a cafe and a book and DVD section. You'll find all the well-known names, as well as some less well-known ones. If they haven't got exactly what you want in stock, they promise to get it for you in 10 days, unlike the other store, where it can take up to 14 days. They cover all the major sports, including football, tennis, and swimming. But they particularly focus on running, and they claim to have the widest range of equipment in the country. As well as that, a whole section of the 3rd floor is devoted to sports bags, including the latest designs from the States. If you can't find what you want here, it doesn't exist.
Okay, children, so these are the answers. First, it was very obvious, a new branch. She didn't say a new, she said they're going to start another branch. Fine. Then in the second question, again to confuse you, she talked about two directions. First, she talked that it is located to the west of Broadcaster and then just to confuse you, in the next very line she said, in the north of something else. So just to confuse you, she gave two direction words. So somebody who's not focusing would be confused, but I know it was west of Redcaster. Fine. Next was they have sports clothing and equipment. Fine. Clothing was what obvious. Fine. And then in the 14th answer, again there was a trap. Since you see, wherever you see an easy answer, to make it difficult, they'll give more options. So if they don't have anything, they'll get it for you in 10 days, unlike the other stores which may take 14 days. So 10 and 14 again was just to confuse you. 14th ही क्वेश्चन का सीरियल नंबर है और आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए 14 नंबर बोल भी दिया उन्होंने. So some children might get confused and write 14, but the actual answer is 10. And then 15, the key word was specialize in equipment, but she didn't say specialize. Instead of specialize, she used the word particularly focus on. Fine. On running. Fine. So it was a synonym, not the exact word which is written in the question paper. Right. And then they have a dedicated section, not special, but she said dedicated section, which just sells sports bags. Okay. So any doubts and questions in these next 6 questions? Anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Sir, in the last question, sports bag, so that comes out to be 2 words.
Yes, I was waiting for somebody to point it out. We don't have the option to write 2 words. So now I have to choose 1 word out of this. So after filling it in the blank, I have to decide which one conveys some meaning. If I just write which just sells sports, it doesn't make sense. Okay? So I can write only bags, right? Or you see, now there is something called a compound word. I might write it like this: sports bags. Fine. So here it would be counted as 1 word, sports bags. But to be on the safer side, you see, you can even write only bags. Now here you see there is something called benefit of doubt. Whenever the examiner checks your answer sheet, he gets an answer key. Fine. And most of the times the answer key gives the examiner an option that you can give credit to somebody who has written only bags, also accept sport bags. So here there is a benefit of doubt which can go to the candidate, depending on, now the examiner cannot use his own whims and fancies. He has to follow a strict answer key which is already provided to him. Okay, so some children might like it like this: sports bags with a hyphen. Now it becomes a compound word, right? It may be counted as 1. So there are certain, you see, traps which you see you have to leave it to the discretion of the examiner. So किसी को लगेगा कि मुझे अकेला बैग्स लिखना है, बट येस डेफिनेटली अगर किसी ने खाली स्पोर्ट्स लिखा उसको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा, बिकॉज इट डजंट मेक सेंस विद जस्ट सेल स्पोर्ट्स. नो, इट डजंट मेक सेंस. बैग्स वाले को मिल सकता है और स्पोर्ट्स बैग इकट्ठा लिखा हो तो भी मिल सकता है, बट इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द आंसर की विच द एग्जामिनर गेट्स. Even he cannot deviate from that answer key. Okay, any other question, children?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
Okay, so today, did you find it easier?
Yes, sir.
So it's like somebody is guiding you. Fine, if you travel to an unknown chartered territory, if you don't have a guide, आप इधर उधर भटकते फिरते, बट इफ़ यू हैव अ गाइड, यू सी समबडी कैन टेल यू अबाउट द फीचर्स. और कुछ होते हैं ना, भूल भुलैया मेज़ में गुम हो जाते हैं लोग, तो अगर आपके पास कोई गाइड हो जो आपको बता के रास्ता निकाल दे, तो अब आपको लगता है तो आसान था. सो बट इन द रियल एग्ज़ाम आपके पास इस तरह में गाइड करने के लिए नहीं हो सकता. यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस एंड ट्रेन योर सेल्फ. अभी हम धीरे धीरे और ट्रिक्स भी सीखेंगे. सो दिस इज़ ऑल फॉर टुडे.